What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first official Colorado Cars and Coffee podcast. We're just kind of messing around today, trying things out. So we're going to go through a couple different topics here, nail down some points, and see if this is worth producing or not.
Well, it's not, so we're done.
That
Well,
was quick.
podcast over. Yeah.
That podcast is done.
We'll go through some quick intros right here. Of course, we have Steve, the CNC CEO. The head in charge.
Hello, everybody. Steve, how you doing? Welcome aboard our unofficial podcast. We're just here giving it a whirl and see what happens. Thanks for joining us.
We've got Terry here as well. He's one of the OGs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Don't listen to Steve at all.
Matt's here to help out as well. Going to be mostly mastering our audio, making sure he keeps us in line.
Hey guys, I'm Matt. Thanks for giving us a listen.
Poor Matt. Keep us in line.
It is one hell of a job. And I am Alex.
It's like babysitting, but worse.
Yeah, exactly. Babysitting grown men. I'm Alex. I'm going to try to be your host. We're going to see how that goes and run through some topics here. So first off, we have the biggest topic that happens in Colorado basically every single year, the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. Everyone in the car world is acutely aware of this going on. So we wanted to hit a couple things in practice this weekend. The first point is obviously, so no fans this year. This will be a recurring theme, obviously, for a few topics here. No fans because of the COVID-19 issue we're going through. What does everyone feel about no fans at the actual track? Is that going to help drivers at all? Does anybody, obviously we're all bummed as fans not being able to be there, but
I don't know if it's going to really hurt the drivers. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, haven't they over the last few years they've kind of limited where fans could be anyway? Because
they've boxed them into pens where you can only spectate from.
Yeah, just like they boxed all the Taylor Swift fans into those pens at we went to the F1 race. That was great. Put them all in there in the direct heat. It's fantastic. I mean, I don't think it's really going to affect the drivers. And honestly, I don't think fans at the hill climb really affects the performance of the drivers at all. I mean, I think sometimes they don't even notice that they're there.
Yeah, I think they're probably far enough back from the road that they're not really that distracting or anything. So
yeah,
it may not affect anything at all.
They're fully in the zone of driving anyway. They've got 156 turns to worry about. They've got 12.4 miles to do those 156 turns. So they're fully concentrating on the track and they're driving.
Yeah, and they're the average speed is what for last year? What was the average speed going up for the top of the class? Anyway, I can't remember. Somebody should look it up.
I have no idea. I mean, the record time is obviously the IDR from 2018, Roman Dumas, 7:57, 1:48. So somebody that wants to do some math can figure out,
Yes, because we are terrible at math and we're not going to do it.
Mileage times and average speed. That's how math works, right?
Yes, yeah, supposedly, or a calculator. I mean,
don't ask me about math because last night I was talking to some friends about a room for rent, and it was 600 square foot, and that's going, well, 6 foot by 10 foot. That's so small, and I couldn't. That's actually 60 square foot. So
yeah,
my math was definitely off that day, and today as well. So
there you go.
I don't do math.
Nobody does math.
So the IDR, it's fully electric, right?
Yeah.
It was, yep, and still is, I guess. It exists. I think I've got some section carved out for that. Let's we'll save that for the end of this because that'll be the pinnacle, right? The other part that's missing this year, there's no bikes.
Well, was that a surprise to anybody?
Not really. Are they coming back? I mean, I think we all understand the reason there's no bikes. Obviously, Carlin last year had a fatal accident.
Carlin Dunn, yeah.
You know, I just look at it this way. When I was a kid, I used to watch the Isle of Man TT.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I still do if it's on in this country, which is a rarity. Sometimes you find it, sometimes you don't. But, growing up where I grew up in England, that was it. You used to watch Isle of Man TT. There's so many accidents. It happens. It's part of racing. It's not the part of racing you want. It's not the part of racing you expect to see, but it does happen. So, you can make it as safe as humanly possible, but accidents will happen, and unfortunately the end result can be the end of your life. So just to say there's no bikes this year, or even to continue that and say no more bikes period, I mean, I think that's the wrong decision to make, because they're racers, they know the inherent dangers of it, and they choose to do it, and they accept that risk to fulfill what they want to do. And I just sometimes think it's kind of wrong for other people to say, well, no.
I agree with you, Terry. I agree with Terry because the organizers are making the decision for the racers. You won't race, so I think that's taking away that decision process from them, giving them the option to whether race or not race based on conditions, based on whether they should be out there or not. And I disagree that should be. I think they should be allowed to race.
yeah. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it should still be their choice. I completely agree with you, Steve. They know the risks going into it. They know exactly what they're getting into.
I'm going to take the exact opposite opinion as all three of you.
Wow.
That's my right as host now. I mean, Terry, you're talking about the Isle of Man. The Isle of Man is maybe the last major motorsport event in the world that still has multiple deaths like every single year,
Yeah.
right? It everything else, Formula One, even that. I mean, the Indy 500 that just happened last weekend. We saw a horrific crash, and that guy walked away. I mean, there's no other events that I can think of off the top of my head, and I'm sure someone will correct us on this, but nobody else has all that many deaths anymore, except for a few freak accidents. Sometimes, yeah, something crazy happens, but Carlin last year was, I don't know the last time somebody died on Pikes Peak, right? It used to happen all the time. It hasn't happened in a long time. I think there's a point to stopping that from happening.
Okay. So here's the thing. Isle of Man TT is, yes, a different race, because it is raced on those roads which are not meant for racing, and people will die.
Well, and it's the government there as well. I mean, the government doesn't, that the Isle of Man is an independent. There's all kinds of special rules there.
I already know what they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So the thing is, you're going to sit there and say, Formula One. Well, I'm a massive fan of Formula One. Jules Bianchi died in the Japanese Grand Prix, which was one of the first deaths, since Ayrton Senna passed. Okay. He didn't die directly in the race. He died of complications a couple of months after. Okay. Nobody shut down Formula One because they had that one accident, and Formula One became super safe as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And they didn't shut it down. So, how many accidents on bikes has occurred at the hill climb in the last 20 years?
We'll have to look that up. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Because we didn't prepare for this podcast, by the way. Anybody
So we also had, Anton Hubert in Formula 2 this year. He died in Formula 2. That was a horrific crash. But another that was a freak accident. That accident was a 1 in a billion chance of happening.
Right, but the whole thing is any accident's a 1 in a billion chance of happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I can go out right now, drive my car, and somebody runs a red light and T-bones me.
Yeah.
Now, should I stop driving because that happened?
I mean, that's a fair point. It is.
Right. I mean,
and motorcycle racing in general is inherently more dangerous.
Motorcycles, period.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have a motorcycle anymore because I couldn't stay upright. So
Well, there was the Moto TT race last weekend. I can't remember the name of the rider. I'm kind of bad at Moto TT, but his brakes failed 180 miles an hour and he bailed off the bike.
Ooh.
It happens. So I think the point is, I just think that the organizers shouldn't just have blanket policy to make that decision. Now, then again, we have no idea. This could have been discussed with all the participants that ride bikes,
Sure.
saying, we're edging this way because of what happened last year, that we don't want to run bikes. Maybe there's some safety concerns that they're going to address in, after this Pikes Peak, and they didn't have enough time to do it because of COVID. Who knows? We're speculating, but let's just say it was a blanket decision made by them. That's what I think is wrong, is that level of blanket decision, instead of getting the input of everybody involved who are going to be taking these risks, to say, this is our thought process. What should we do? So, but we don't know exactly what happened because none of us researched it. So,
So I did look it up quick. There's been 7 deaths, all on motorcycles
okay.
since
In the last
route
20
was,
years?
since the route was paved in 2012. So in the last 8 years.
Oh, okay.
The
So
last
7 deaths in 8 years.
Okay.
So about 1 a year.
I was gonna say almost one a year.
Yeah.
Also math. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So who knows whether, I just think personally, I think it should be a joint decision, not just a blanket decision, but
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't know that it's not, right?
right.
They may have discussed that.
Looking at some of the history on motorcycle racing at the peak, based on various accidents, they actually shut down motorcycle racing for a few years. No
really?
motorcycles on Pikes Peak, 1977, 78, 79.
Okay.
There was a tragic accident in 82. So again, bikes were dismissed from the peak from 83 to 1990, no motorcycles.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like it cycles,
Right.
back and forth between allowing them and not allowing them.
So it would be interesting to see is what improvements were made towards safety for bikes after each one, which is something that, if this conversation wants to continue, or on the next podcast to bring it up, maybe, to see, because that would be interesting, that, they have a dreadful accident. They go, okay, well, our safety policies were good enough. This happened. Learn from the accident. Hey, no bikes, because we have to do a lot of work to make this work again for you all. And then when it's up and running, welcome back. So that could be it too.
That's true.
Yeah, I think we should do a part 2 to this, a follow up. We kind of look into that. That is a very interesting topic.
Research.
Some history of Pikes Peak. We'll tag it for next time.
This is a history podcast now?
Well, it can be. It could be whatever we want it to be. All right, let's move on. Let's hit weather conditions. On Pikes Peak is always insane, right? I mean, there's
Yes.
always a little bit of everything. The last one I was physically at was 2018. We saw sunshine, and then immediate hail, and then rain and clouds, and then sunshine, all within probably the span of 2 hours or something. I mean, it's just madness up there. Does anyone know what we're looking at this season? Or it's always
Probably
a
the
mess?
same.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
the same.
Is there really any way to know?
That's
No,
probably
'cause
all we can say, I guess.
It's Colorado weather. it's whatever the hell it wants to be, and then 10 minutes later it's something else. I mean, I wonder how much they factor that in to their setups.
I mean, I'm sure it's a decent amount. That does, it transitions into what we'll bring up next. There's a movement towards electric cars to set the record, and this is going to transition back into the IDR, right? That movement into electric cars, I think, helps out so much with those weather conditions and the altitude change and all kinds of different things. Do we see electric cars starting to dominate the peak? Is there ever going to be a gas engine that gets near the record?
I don't see how possible. Taking a look at that IDR, the Volkswagen with its 757 run,
Mhm.
I don't see how a gas engine could get close.
I think the next closest time was the same year in 2018. The Norma M20 did a 837 230,
Wow.
which is
Was that gas engine?
that was a gas engine, I believe.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean that's almost 40 seconds off the pace. And I think, yeah, I mean, the IDR was built specifically for this. It was built to dominate that hill climb, that track.
Right.
They change it and they set it up, and they pull batteries and they add batteries depending on. I mean, it literally when it set the record in 2018, they had to flatbed it and tow it down because it was out of battery. I mean, they have enough power for the run up, and that's it. And it's so specialized now. I don't know that.
Is it racing? Is it racing this weekend?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think it's raced in a while, if I remember correctly. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I'm looking up the competitor list here.
Research as we go, folks.
Hey, that's how it works. This is called amateur like podcast. If anybody who listens to this somehow goes, "These guys are not professional," you won. You have won the prize. We are not professional.
You person who criticizes us, please come be our statistician.
Yes.
We are going to need somebody on here dedicated to just.
You can be the fifth man on this podcast. That's for sure.
Yes. Woohoo.
Or woman. That's fine too.
True.
So the weather for Sunday, well, it's stupid. This weather is horseshit.
Yeah.
But clear, some clouds, cloudy, some clouds, clear. That's like
which will change every millisecond up there.
That's not even a forecast.
And depending on if you're at the bottom or the top, I mean,
it's like
they're different worlds.
There's some clouds.
Okay, here on the IDR, I don't see anything. Did you find anything about it being in this year?
Yeah, no IDR this year.
Yeah, so at the beginning of this year, in February, they announced that they're building a second version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there will be an IDR 2. Actually, it's going to be called the IDR Evo.
Interesting.
Looking at the roster right now, I see maybe one electric car that won't go for the record, but that could be quick. But that's going to turn into this next topic here. This particular car I'm looking at is the Unplugged Performance Tesla Model 3. This was piloted by Randy Popst, and he had a bit of a crash yesterday.
You could say that.
If anyone has seen the video of that, we do have it in our Facebook group. I think Steve posted it up, right, Steve?
Yeah. That was Randy voicing over the crash.
Yeah, it is pretty gnarly.
There's in-cab video of it happening, and then him talking about it afterwards.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, he came out a couple different times. He tweeted, I crashed the Unplugged Performance Tesla Model 3. Too fast, too soon. First run, first massive bump, top section. I know better. So I think he's just, I mean, the whose fault is it crash kind of thing. I think he admitted that he was pushing a little too hard, too fast.
Yeah, I believe he addressed that in the video. He said that he just went, like you said, too hard, too fast.
Right. It's a disappointment. I think Randy's an accomplished dude. I mean, he's the Motor Trend track tester. He's got more than 90 pro road race wins under his belt. He's been a factory driver for Porsche, Audi, Mazda, Volvo. I mean, he's an accomplished dude. I think he knows what he's doing. He's been on the mountain before as well. I just think, he had a bit of a hiccup, which is unfortunate. What do we think about Randy?
He's faster than me.
Faster than me too. I think it brings up an interesting point on the on the transition to electrics. They have a completely different feel than a combustion engine car.
Right.
And I wonder how much that played into Randy's accident. Maybe not having the feel or a feedback because there's no sound. There's no.
Yeah, you watch that video and it's just silent.
Yeah.
You hear a little bit of road noise and that's it.
When the torque in those cars is so instant and so
it's like a switch. Yeah.
So low. Yeah, it's like a switch. If if you've been driving combustion engines for years and years and you're down a gear, you can floor it and not have all that right away and kind of prepare for that to roll on.
Prepare for it. You're feathering the throttle. You're doing your brake thing. You know where the torque band's going to be and all that kind of stuff. And then that kind of does definitely change.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, which is like a definite learning curve, which is probably why he was pushing it. I mean, then again, we could always ask him onto the podcast because he's personal friends of all of ours. But
It'd be a big land for podcast number 2.
exactly. Yeah, I will make some phone calls.
Our white whale.
John, get on that.
I will make some phone calls. I got some connections and see what we got. I'm pretty sure I have a subscription to Motor Trend, so that should give me the in. But I think just what he was saying is that he was pushing too hard, a little too early. It might be just that transition where he was used to, this section, this turn, this, that, I can do this, this, and this at this speed, and then it just didn't translate very well. But everything's a learning curve, so it's not, it's not like, oh well, I'm done because I can't drive a Tesla on the hill climb. So my career as a fucking driver and a race car driver and a fucking test car, testing and all of it is over because that Tesla just, yeah. So I'm just curious to see when it's fixed, when it goes up again, what changes he made to his technique.
Well, there was a quote. I believe he was quoted saying that he wanted to be going up again by the weekend.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And they were going to try to fix the Tesla.
Right.
Oh, wow.
He knows it's something that he could fix in his technique if he's ready to go after it again.
So, they're definitely going to run again. I mean,
I don't think I realized they were trying to prep for continuing the race. I thought it looked like a bad enough accident that they were going to be DQ'd, but that's not the case, huh?
I read the same thing too, where they're fixing and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully to be ready. And I'm pretty sure that a couple of phone calls were made to a certain person that might own Tesla. You say, "Hey, what can you do to help us out?" Because free publicity is free publicity.
There you go.
What wins on Sunday sells on Monday.
That's right.
Well, rock on, Randy. We're pulling for you this weekend.
I've got an update. I went to this is like research on the fly. So I went to Unplugged Performances Facebook, and they said never give up. This was 41 minutes ago. A total car will not stop us. We will wave the Tesla flag from the top of the mountain. An hour ago, we bought a new car from Tesla. We will straighten the frame on the race car and rebuild it in 48 hours using parts from the new car. Thank
Whoa.
you to the Tesla community for your inspiration and support.
Wow.
So thanks, Elon, for giving us a new car.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, it sounds like they bought it, right?
Well, yeah, the whole thing is it's sponsorship. I mean, it's the same principle in any racing,
Sure.
So that's good. I'm glad because I would like to see where it ends up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
It'll be the never-ending Tesla.
I think I think this is a big show for the future in tunability on these electric cars.
Right, exactly. So that makes you wonder if they do really well with Tesla, will you start seeing more like Porsche getting involved more and
Is
more?
there a Taycan racing this year?
See a Taycan, Steve.
No Taycan.
No.
Well, maybe I'll buy one and go race it this weekend.
You have that much money, Steve?
No.
Does your wife know you have that much money is the real question.
Go fund me.
Listeners, I promise you, if we make enough money off this podcast, we will buy a Colorado Cars and Coffee Taycan and we will race it at Pikes Peak. How's that sound?
Oh, that's guaranteed for sure.
Yeah, definitely a GoFundMe. And actually, you should give us enough money to buy a Porsche and a 2020 F-Type.
And now we're just dreaming.
Mhm.
Let's move on to topic number 2 here. We also have we've got a sweet event coming up. This is one of the biggest roaming events in the U.S. Hot Import Nights is coming to Denver.
Okay, hold that thought, Alex. I just want to wrap up the Pikes Peak race.
Oh yeah.
So there is Mobile One is hosting a free live stream of the entire event. That live stream kicks off on their Facebook page at 7 a.m. our time, local. The race starts at 7:30 a.m. One of the major points I want to get across. Also, there is no Fan Fest this year. usually held in downtown Colorado Springs. But there is a company that's holding a fan fest of their own. If you guys want to attend, it's hosted by Under Pressure Power and Performance, and that's from tomorrow at 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I've posted that event on our Facebook group if you want to take a look at it. That's all. Thanks, Alex.
Heck yeah, yeah. I was on my that was on my to-do list for that topic. Thank you for covering for me. Yeah, so let's get into hot import nights. It travels all around the U.S. It's one of the bigger events that travel currently. That it's always going on in the U.S. somewhere, right? So coming to Denver. What's the date on that? Do you guys know?
September 19th,
September
I
19th.
believe. Let me double check that before I get quoted, but I'm pretty confident.
That is correct. September 19th,
September 19th.
There you
Okay.
go.
down in Colorado Springs.
In Colorado Springs. I think this is, we were talking about this a little bit before the pod. This is what I think is the real SEMA, and everyone was giggling at me for that. But I think this is, except for Matt. Matt was backing me up on that. It's true.
So elaborate on why you think it's the real SEMA. I'm just curious.
So I think hot import nights, I think we see some of the real builds, right? Like SEMA is so so commercialized now. There's so many sponsors involved. There's so many. It's so much, so much big money thrown into some of these builds, and I mean, no doubt at SEMA we see some of the craziest stuff, right? Like we had the quad rotor RX-7 last year, 2 years ago. There is some crazy stuff that comes out of SEMA, no doubt. But I think the hot import nights is what SEMA used to be, where there isn't like this massive cash flow into the event. And I think it gives more ordinary people. It's like blue collar SEMA, right? Just gives more ordinary people the chance to get their builds in, show off what they're proud of, see some really unique stuff. I think hot import nights is the up and coming. I mean, it is. It's not up and coming. It is the new car show to be at.
If you're a builder. But yeah, SEMA. So to your point about SEMA being commercialized, I guess to put it
Mildly.
You see so many things that are basically just rolling ads.
Right.
They have just stupid money thrown into them.
Yep.
Almost no drivability, and that's overshadowed. Yeah, you still get, like you said, the more raw builds like that 4-rotor RX-7 and stuff, but those things get overshadowed by these big money advertiser builds.
Yeah, I mean, no, I totally get that, because it's more like, they're fast builds.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's going, oh, hey, we got SEMA in 6 weeks and we got to get something built.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, because when these kind of shows get bigger and bigger and bigger and more popular, and and of course there'll be people listening to this saying we don't know what the hell we're talking about. Well, neither do you. So it's, to me, it's more of when they become, they're already commercialized because SEMA is supposed to be the industry show,
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to say it this way: when they become more publicized, so the public is more interested in it and they start marketing towards the public, then you start seeing that switch from, let's showcase the technology. This is what you can do with this technology. We did this build, we built this car, and we did this modification, etc. We hot rodded this. And then when it became, it moved away from an industry showcase to where only really industry people were there, to where you would see it on TV as the SEMA show, and then you had all the reality shows, et cetera, et cetera. Then it became, well, it's no longer that. It's, we need to build a car for SEMA in 6 weeks, and that big piece of crap, and that it's not going to do anything. It's going to turn up. It's going to sit there. People go ooh and ah, and go, ooh, this must be real fun to drive, and it never goes anywhere. And I think that is like a disease where that commercialism to make a buck and tie in reality shows to it, et cetera, kind of really kind of screws with it a bit. I've never done a hot import night. I probably never will, and that's nothing against what's going to be there. I totally really I'm not one of those respectable builds because I will just laugh my balls off at something I think is completely stupid.
Well, and I think that's an important point of Hot Import Nights, right? It's
Right.
not just like, it's not just guys that have built like one specific type of show off
Right.
car. It's all
Exactly.
sorts of different stuff there. I
All
mean,
sorts of stuff there.
Yep.
So I mean, that's the whole thing. It's, you know, I get what you're saying. It's the real SEMA, but I mean, the SEMA also was all, as I said, it was just a industry showcase. So
yeah,
I think what it is what Hot Important Nights really is what SEMA should have become.
yeah,
That's a good way to put it. That's a real good way to put it.
And to do it that way, when you want to get the public more interested in and have, personal builds that these guys go out there and they find whatever they want to build and they're going to customize it to their taste, and they put a lot of effort, time. It's not just this thrown together rat trap piece of shit.
Mhm.
And I think that's what SEMA should have matured into, to combine both the commercial side of it and the public side of it. But that's just my thoughts. So I kind of definitely agree with you there in that concept, Alex, for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Steve, I know you mentioned you have not been to a Hot Import Nights, but you guys may have seen SEMA of old a little bit more. What's your opinion on?
He's calling you old, Steve.
Well, I've not been to a SEMA yet either, so
Okay. Yeah.
either of them. But I think I might try to get down to Hot Import Nights this time.
Excellent.
And also, just as an extra thing, we are planning to give away a couple of tickets on
Yes.
both our Facebook group and also our Instagram for spectator tickets.
Saturday.
We are. That's an excellent CEO plug right there. We are giving some tickets away on our on our Instagram, on our Facebook. So stay tuned to those platforms to see if you can grab a ticket if you're planning on going.
Speaking of ticket giveaways, we do have that code, the discount code for people that do want to buy.
Yes. What is that discount code?
It is COCCVIP.
Woohoo!
COCCVIP. You heard it right here.
That gets you $10 off vehicle registration or 20% off of an admission ticket.
Excellent. We will also be there. So we are promising. We're committing here. So this is the scary moment for us. But we're gonna do a podcast. We're gonna do a podcast from Hot Import Nights. We'll be there. We're gonna try to get a couple people to interview. We're gonna talk about some of the builds, some of the highlights. So we'd love to see you guys out there. If we're there, come track down Steve and myself, and Tara won't be there. But Matt, I think you're planning on attending as well, right?
Yep, I'll be there.
There you go.
I mean, I may or may not be there. It depends. I have commitments, but yeah.
Terry's a busy man.
Actually, really can't say in the podcast, but the day before that, I have something to do, which Steve knows about. My friend.
I do.
No disclosing personal engagements on the podcast, please, Terry.
No, it's not that. My friend Steve. You know what I'm talking about.
We're encouraging a bunch of people to come out to Hot Import Nights. I don't think they need our help to get people out there.
Yes, they do.
They're a massive.
How
massive
dare you?
show.
How dare you?
But we want to cover the COVID concerns anyone might have. So Katie from Hot Import Nights, she messaged us and just kind of mentioned and wanted to make sure we could ease everyone's concerns here a little bit. They just got done with their Dallas event. Their Dallas event was also an indoors event, which Denver will be indoors. But they were praised by the fire marshals, the city board members. They have adequate spacing all over the facility. They are limiting the amount of people per vendor. So you're not going to, the vendors probably love it because they don't have 100 people crowded around their tent. I think it sounds like they're doing a really great job at the social distancing thing inside the shows themselves. So,
and even though Alex said he's calling it the Denver event, make sure you go to Colorado Springs to attend.
Yeah, sorry.
To the Colorado Springs Event Center. It's not in
Colorado
Denver.
Springs Event Center. It has nothing to do with the city of Denver.
Podcast glory.
Face masks are going to be required because it is indoors. So make sure you guys wear face masks. Bring one with, mask up.
Yep.
Wear your favorite Alfa Romeo face mask or something like that, right?
No, you want something that works. So it ain't gonna be enough.
Ouch. Ouch.
So
Next
Um,
topic. Next topic, please.
next topic is the repairs that Steve has done to his Alpha.
Yeah, so the next topic, Sonic Friday. So we've been doing this. We don't actually organize a lot of events at Colorado Cars and Coffee, but we have been organizing a couple of just like Sonic, what we like to call hashtag tots and tailpipes. So we're doing another one this Friday. It's up on our Instagram account. It is in our Facebook event calendar. So yeah, guys, come hit us up at our Sonic Friday meets. Get some ice cream, tots.
Yeah, let's get that hashtag trending.
Hashtag tots and tailpipes.
That's just terrible.
I like some of my hashtags, which we haven't discussed yet.
We don't need to discuss it.
There's been some racy hashtags out of Steve's fingers, Twitter thumbs.
We could probably dedicate a whole podcast to some of Steve's better hashtags.
Oh, we can dedicate a whole podcast to the crap both of us used to pull and people used to yell at us about. Let's talk
We
about parking.
We make fun of Steve and his hashtags, but Steve knocked it out of the park with one of the best Instagram interaction posts we've had on Colorado Cars and Coffee. So it's we get that thrown back in our face quite a bit.
Thank you. So the address is 2440 West 128th Avenue up in Broomfield.
Yeah, so that's an important point. We're switching it up this week. We've had it at the same Sonic a couple weeks in a row.
Northwest Denver. We're just gonna spread the love, move around to different places and
For sure.
maybe Golden.
We're tired of the whining.
Definitely Golden. Yeah, I mean, I think moving around's a great thing. That does beg some attention to the posts themselves, right? So I think we'll probably have a certain amount of people that just show up at the previous Sonic and they'll have their own little meet, but ours is going to be in the Broomfield location this time around. So get the word out to all your buddies. Bring the crew out. I want to take that opportunity to shout out to the R32 crew around here in Denver. They've been turning out more and more cars every single weekend, so that's pretty cool to see. Appreciate you guys coming out and supporting that all, and supporting Sonic. Make sure when you're there, save room for some tots, save room for some shakes. Let's give Sonic a little bit of business for letting us take over their parking lot for a couple hours. That'd be excellent. They'd really appreciate that. So, is that's it on tots and tailpipes, huh, Sonic?
No, so with the Sonic meet, and we are going to move it around a little bit. It's still very simply this: Sonic is nice enough to allow these things to happen, not just for us, but for everybody else. So treat it like you treat everywhere else. It's not a place for you to turn up and burn out, rev your engines, generally being annoying. It's there for you to turn up, get out of your car, walk around, get some food, talk to people, etc., and boogie on out when you're ready to go home. Exactly how Lafayette Cars and Coffee is. So let's just remember that.
Yeah, I think standard Cars and Coffee rules apply, right? We're not trying to hoon too much in the Sonic parking lot and attract too much attention because we want to keep doing these things, right?
Right. Just follow the golden rule.
Right. Respect the spot. That's all we ask. Yep.
Don't be a dick.
There it is.
It's in our slogan line, right? Slogan line?
Yeah. It's on our logo.
Golden rule.
The golden rule. All right, final topic. Drive Four Corners BMW meet. That is happening. Steve, you know a lot more about this than I do. You want to take over here?
Sure. This is called Drive Four Corners, BMW meets, organized by the Schultz brothers. I know Tom is heavily involved. They're all BMW enthusiasts. Their dad is as well. But it kicked off today. They left from Colorado Springs and headed over to Crested Butte. They'll stay over in Crested Butte for the next 3 days, and they'll get back on Sunday. But while they're over in Crested Butte, they'll have several cruises, medium length, short length, long cruise length, and they'll just have a great time getting together with various BMW cars. They started, I think, in 2011 or 2012 with like
I think
six
it was like
cars.
2011.
Yeah, and now they're up to, I think last year was 50 cars, and this year 43, a little less, but COVID and all that. But yeah, 40 plus cars to get out and have fun cruises and get together and do things. I've always wanted to go. I just never had a chance. Never made it happen. But that's on me. I want to go one of these days.
Yeah, I think important to note. We were chatting a little bit before. I think they welcome more than just BMWs. So if you feel like going for a couple day cruise, I believe you're allowed to join them. They might
Yeah,
kick you out of the team photo, but you can certainly follow them. I think they're all pretty friendly guys.
yeah, they are. They definitely are.
So that's a cool event going on. Yeah, we'll have to make it out one of these times next year. It's always next year, right? Want to cut here, maybe do a couple sponsor shout outs.
Sure. I'll take that over, Alex. We had two new sponsors this week, and I just wanted to introduce them real quick and just say thanks. But they are Colt Cars, run by Elon Brown. They're a consignment for modified and limited production vehicles, and they just started sponsoring with us. Go ahead and check them out at coltcarsforsale.com or their Facebook page, Instagram, all their different social media channels.
They've been teasing me with an RS2 that they've been touting on their Instagram account for weeks
Yeah,
now.
you'll often see them at the car shows with their RS2. Elon has a Ford Escort RS Cosworth with the weird whale tail in the back.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, you'll see that around quite a bit. But yeah, so go check them out if you're looking to sell your car and not have a hassle. They'll take care of it for you. And then another sponsor we have is Abe with Main Street Insurance, and Abe has a small team of about 8, and they're an insurance broker for over 40 different carriers, to include Haggerty. So we're excited to have them on board as a broker. If it's time for you guys to find some new insurance or to update your coverages or check out the rates, give him a call and just find out what he can do for you. Just want to shout those out real quick. Thanks, Alex.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think that wraps it up mostly. You guys have any more points you want to inject real quick? Anything we missed?
Yeah, so we should talk about the t-shirt designs.
There you go.
What? Whoa.
We'll tease it here a little bit. We're talking about some t-shirt designs to get some swag to hand out and for maybe light purchase.
I got this one, Alex. So essentially here, Steve and I have been talking, and we've done this before, where we had some Color Cars and Coffee t-shirts and stickers, etc., with the logos on there, and we did that for a little bit, but now we decided to get back into that game. And we did post up on the page a while ago to people to share their t-shirt designs, etc. What we're looking to do is to get some original designs and out there from you guys, and be able to take those and get them printed out on high quality t-shirts and sell them. All the money goes to charity. So that is a work in progress, but we do need your help in some of these designs. So we're going to go find a post again, and we're going to bump it up. And please just submit what you would like to a design of an original t-shirt, for Colorado Cars and Coffee. Kind of look at it like a blip ship.
Yeah, we've got an initial design in the works. We actually looked up what Blip Shift uses for their
Blip shaft.
T-shirt. Blip Shift, and
Blip ship.
we're starting from there, and we're going to have the CNC logo on the sleeve. We'll have a general design on the front, car related design on the front, and we'll just see if they're popular and take off. We would love to sell them. Like Terry mentioned, all profits will go to local charity.
Exactly.
Funny enough, as you mentioned the T-shirts, my printer went off, and I just finished the first round of those keychains. So I'm
Woohoo!
hoping to have a bunch more of those by the weekend. Of this, just the basic hexagon logo that says Colorado Cars and Coffee in black and white.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think all of our admins have claimed all of that run so far. But
The first run's definitely gone, but I'm cranking them out. So
hopefully Matt will have some for the fans later.
So yeah, if anyone's at Tots and Tailpipes tomorrow night and they find me and I have any left, I'll give you one.
There you go.
Nice.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah. Blip Shaft. Very, very different website.
Flip shaft.
Don't go there.
sorry.
Please don't go there. Don't go there.
NSFW. Don't go there where you're working.
Wrap this up, Alex, please.
All right. Thank you so much for listening tonight, guys. Let us know if this was terrible. Let us know if,
It was terrible.
It was terrible. Yeah. Let us know that it was terrible. Let us know if you're interested in more terribleness. Give us some suggestions for topics upcoming. And you can get a hold of us at a plethora of different places, right? So most of you are probably already on our Facebook group, but if you're not, search our Facebook group, Colorado Cars and Coffee, spelled out. Follow us on Instagram at Co Cars and Coffee. It's CO Cars and Coffee spelled out. No spaces, all one word. Twitter handle is the same. Steve and I freestyle a little bit more on Twitter. So if you want to get rowdy, Twitter is obviously the place to do that. And that's it, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.